Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Alejandra. Thank you so much for joining. Today, I'm going to show you an example of how to obtain the latest sales in a report that accumulates all those sales every time that the customer brings or makes a new purchase. This is the file that I have. As you can see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see a little bit better. And in this report, I have the customer number, the name, and the product. Here are the dates when I have those purchases or those purchases from the customers or my sales, which is the same. So I have the dates that are not in order. So I have June 3rd, June 13th, and then October 6th. I have July 27th, then August, then May. So for me to figure out which is the latest sale or the year-to-date sales that I have from these customers, John Smith or Tatiana, I need to look into every single column to identify first which is the correct order. So I need to order these columns and then figure out what is the latest amount that I have for sales for that person and the product as well. I'm not going to do it manually. There is no way that I'm going to spend so much time doing that. So we are going to use Power Query to fix that, to bring that information. So here I'm seeing that people are connecting. So I'm just also keeping my eye on the chat just in case something is not going well or something happens. I need to make sure that I'm keeping my eye on everything. So let's bring this to Power Query. I'm going to go inside of this table. I have, this table has a total of 900 rows. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to select Get Data from Table Range. I'm using Microsoft 365. The Power Query editor opens. And here I have, on the left, I have the query pane, the queries pane. Control-Shift+ to zoom in so you can see a little bit better. And here I have the name of the table. The table is called Table 3. Power Query names my query as the name of the table or the file or the folder that I'm working with. In my case, it's a table. So I'm going to double click there and I'm going to rename this as Solve Live. So I already have the solution on above this just in case something doesn't go as planned. I know better. So just we are going to be working on Solve Live. So I'm going to go back to my Power Query editor. And here on the right, I have the query settings. I have change type. That is a step that Power Query automatically created for me. I'm going to remove that. I click at the X square so I can delete it. And I just keep my step source. I can change the name of the query also over here on the right. And for that, let me just bring one of my tools so I can indicate some of the information that I'm showing over here. Perfect. I just needed to bring this. Okay. So here we have, as I show you, we have the customer number, the name, the product, etc. So from here, I think I'm going to hide the query settings so we have more room to see over here. Control-Shift- to zoom out a little bit. And here are the columns that I show you with the dates. Very simple. I'm going to select name and product. So I'm going to unpivot other columns. And that's going to make my life super easy. Right click and unpivot other columns. Here I have my two columns that I want to keep, my name and the product. And now I have an attribute and a value. So the only thing that I forgot to do in here, I should have also include the customer number because I didn't include the customer number. Then it's part of my unpivot. It's part of those other columns that I need to unpivot. So I'm going to fix that very easy here in the formula bar. I have table unpivot other columns. This is, I think I'm going to bring back my query settings if it allows me here. There we go. So table, Unpivot, other columns. It's going to ask me for a table. The table is coming from my previous step, my step source, this step that I have here. That's the table that is bringing over here. Then I'm saying that I'm going to keep my column name and product as they are. I don't want to do anything with them. I just want to unpivot any other columns. I want to keep those two columns static, let's say. Then unpivot other columns, and it's going to bring me one column with the attribute, that's even the name of the column, and with the values, that is the name of this column. I don't like the name attribute. I'm going to say that that's going to be date, because I just want the date there. And values, I want that to be amount. Here is where I can fix where to have or how to add the customer number. So I'm going to provide double set of quotation marks, and I'm going to say the name of the column is customer NO and one dot. I'm going to press and then I need to provide a comma. So I'm specifying the name of the column inside of the quotation marks, and I'm separating every column with a comma. I'm going to click on the check mark, and like magic, then I have customer number, name, product, and then I have all the dates in this column and all the amounts in this other column. Okay, so just checking quickly the comments. I will pass the comments later in a minute. I just want to finish one thought, because otherwise then I get out of topic, okay? But I'm looking, guys. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. I have been away for a while, so I really appreciate it. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna hide the queries pane because I really need more space here. Now that I have this information in a better presentation or in a better way that I can manipulate the data, then I'm gonna filter in my column amount. I'm gonna filter and remove all the zeros. I don't need the zeros. I need to keep my data as clean as possible, or I want to transform the minimum of information as possible so it doesn't impact the performance, and it makes my cleaning much more better and easier. So I remove the zero, and I'm going to say, okay. You see that Power Query is creating steps for me here on the right in the query settings side. So in name my step Unpivot other columns, Unpivot other columns. So it's too long for me. So I'm just going to say, I'm going to keep only Unpivot. Pivot. And my next step, I'm going to just name it filter. So I know what that means. And I don't need those names that are so long, because then my code gets very large and sometimes I find it very messy. So now that I have that, I can group this information by the name and the product. I select the column name, press and hold Control, select product, and then I'm going to right click and I'm going to group by. I want to group this information by these two columns, and I'm going to name the new column. I'm going to say latest sale or year-to-date sale, something around those lines. I want to perform an operation, and that will be no operation. I want to bring all the lines. I don't want to add, I don't want to count or get the average. No, I just want to bring all the rows for now. And I'm going to say, okay. Now do you see that I have name and product columns, and now I have the new column that is called latest sale. From here, I'm bringing every single line that I had in my table for this specific customer, for this specific product. If I click beside where it says table, I can see at the bottom, I'm gonna bring it a little bit more on the top. So now you see that I have all the products here. In this case, it's easy to identify where is the latest sale. In this case, I have my latest sale is at the bottom, because this customer or the order or the columns where this customer made a purchase, then that aligns perfectly when this customer made the latest purchase. But for example, I remember when I was preparing this file, I noticed that these specific sales, these ones don't align as well as the other one. You can see in here that for August 12th is the latest of these sales that I have for Cort Chavez for pants. This is the amount that I need to grab as the latest one or as the year-to-date sale. So the only thing that I need to do here is then sort this column in descending order or ascending order, depending what you want to do. In my case, I find it easy just to order in descending order and then grab the first item that gets, because this item will move from here, it will move to this position. It will move to the first position on the table. So let me show you how it will work. And let me just expand my formula bar. You can see all this coding that Power Query creating for us. Let me just zoom in to show you that. It is grouping the table that is coming from my previous step, my step filter right over here. I'm grouping by the column name and product. I'm calling the new sale. I'm calling that the new column, I'm calling latest sale. That's going there. And then I'm asking all the items that belong to that group, that customer and that product. And that's what I find in a table right over here. And for me, providing that underscore, I'm bringing everything that belongs to that customer and that product. Everything else over here is optional, and I'm going to remove it because at this point of time, I don't need it. So my code is cleaner and my explanation is better for you. Now, what I need to do in here, as I said, I need to sort my column amount. And I'm going to tell Power Query here in the formula bar, table sort, open parentheses, the table will come from every single item in my column latest sale, which is these tables that we see in this column. So I'm going to provide a comma, and I need to provide a comparison criteria. I can say that I want this in descending order. And I think I'm ready to close the parentheses for table sort. Go to the end and press enter, and it's giving me an error. Okay, let's see. Oh, I think I forgot something. I forgot to tell Power Query how do I want, which column I want to sort. If you remember, is the column amount. So here, before I provide other descending, I'm going to open the curly brackets. I'm going to tell Power Query that the column is called amount. Close the quotation marks, comma, and now I have the descending order. Close my curly brackets. I have curly brackets here, curly brackets here, and I'm going to see if that works. And voila, it worked, and it's not the column amount, it's the column date. I have been away for a long time. So what I did, I ordered the column amount in descending order, but that's not going to work. What I want is the latest, not the highest. So it's the latest year-to-date sale. So I'm going to just click at the check mark, and now I see properly that I have in here, let me see, here I have, in the first line, I have the latest purchase or the latest year-to-date purchase that this customer did. Now that I have that, I'm going to go back to that row 39, if I remember correctly. So that's the one that we look at earlier. And now I see that I have that sale from August is also in the first line. So I can see that my formula is bringing what I need. Now, I can also change this to ascending order if that's what you want. In my case, it doesn't work that well. I'm gonna do it. For me, works better just the descending. I just grab the first item from every table, and that's it. And from the column amount, and that's about it. I can provide the 1 or the 0. And if I remember correctly, descending is also presented as 1. I'm going to provide the 1, and I'm going to click at the check mark, and let's see if that worked. Yes, that's still working. It's still bringing the descending order in the dates. And if I provide 0, then it will sort in an ascending order. So I'm going to provide the 0, and now you will see that the first sale that I have for this customer is from June, and then the latest one goes to the bottom. I'm going to put back that from to 1, so it's descending order. And from there, as I said, I only need the first item that is in the column amount. So I'm going to go back here to my formula bar. I'm going to move table sort in the next line, shift enter to go to the next line. And from here, I'm going to tell Power Query that I only want the information that is in the column amount. I'm going to press enter so you can see. Now my tables have become list because I'm making a projection there. I'm just bringing the information from the column amount as a list. Here is my column amount. Here is the amounts that I have in that list. I just want the first one. So remember that to tell Power Query that I want the first item from the list, I need to provide a curly bracket so I can go and grab that information. And the position is position 0. For Power Query, the first line is position 0, second line, position 1, and so on. So if I say I want position 0, press enter. And just like that, we have the latest sale or the latest year-to-date sale that these customers have with us. And I'm going to rename my step here, and I'm going to say group. That's all that I need. And I'm going to move and see the the comments because I'm so behind, but I hope this is going to help you to bring those lines, those cells that have that information that you need, but it's so hard to find it because everything is all over the place. So hopefully this gives you an idea how to build your reports and use these techniques to incorporate in your work. It might not work perfectly as you need it, but at least you have ideas and you know the tools that you can use so you can apply it in your day-to-day work. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for your contribution. I really appreciate that very much. Excellent. So as I said, the file for you to practice is in the description of this video. Let me move this to Excel. So now that we have the information that we need, I want to go home, close and load to, and I can bring this as a table, pivot table. I want to bring it as a pivot table. So I'm going to select pivot table, and I'm going to say OK, because I want to create that in a new sheet. Then I can bring the names. I can bring the latest sale, and then, or I can bring, instead of names, I can bring just the product, and I can see really the year-to-date sales for every single product, right? So this can help me in several ways. Or in my case, why I needed this information, I was asked to provide a list with the customers by product, or a list by customer with each specific product, and see how much they had as sales. So in my case, I just had to bring it as a table, just as you saw it in Power Query. I just had to bring it as a table, but you can play with that information. In my case, or in this example, I have just a few columns. In my real example, I have several columns, so I could play with the data if needed. So I hope you found this information useful. I'm gonna leave this live stream as is. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit, and I'm gonna save it as new video. It's not gonna be new information. You will see that coming in the next 2 days, tomorrow or the day after. It's not a new video. It's just this version, a little bit cleaner, without so much introductions or things like that. People sometimes doesn't want to see long format videos, but I'm gonna have both options for everyone. Okay. Excellent. Thank you so much. Oh, Gregory, thank you. That is much easier for me. Thank you, Gregory. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Awesome. And hello for Germany, Mikrowa. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate everyone's attention. I being here. Really, I'm very happy about that. If you like it, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. I will bring more live events like this. I'm back, so I hope you can join me. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.